Your mother hands you a check for $3,000 the week you graduate, not for a trip, not for a celebration. She's sitting at the kitchen table with a paper bank statement in front of her, and she says, "Put this in savings. Don't touch it. Just let it sit." You can smell the coffee she's been reheating all morning. You take the check. You nod. You believe her completely. She grew up with nothing. Your father grew up with less. They built a life on the principle that safety was the point. Not ambition, not growth, not leverage. Safety. And at 22, sitting at that kitchen table with $3,000 and a diploma and exactly zero understanding of how money actually moves, their advice sounds less like a limitation and more like a rescue rope someone is handing you before you fall. You open a savings account at the bank where your parents have banked since 1987. The teller is kind. The interest rate is 0.4%. You don't ask about the interest rate. Nobody told you to ask about the interest rate. You deposit the $3,000. You watch the number sit there. You feel genuinely safe. This is where it begins, not with a mistake, with a feeling. Age 22, the advice lands. You get the job, not the dream. The job, $47,000 a year, benefits, a 401k that you enroll in because HR sends you a form, and the default is 3% contribution, and you don't change it. Your parents are proud. Your father shakes your hand like you've won something. In his world you have. The advice is clean and consistent. Don't carry credit card debt. Buy a house as soon as you can afford one. Renting is throwing money away. Don't put money in the stock market. It's gambling. Your uncle lost $14,000 in 2001 and never recovered. Keep 6 months in savings. Stay at a company long enough to vest. Don't quit without another job lined up. Play it safe. Play it safe. Play it safe. And for a while, for a real genuine while, it works. You have $11,000 in savings by 24. You have no credit card debt. You have a 401k sitting at $4,300 that you don't think about, because thinking about it feels like tempting fate. You are, by every metric your parents understand, doing it right. You feel the pride of that. Don't skip over it. It was real. Age 26 to 28, security starts to have a price tag. You buy the house at 27, $284,000, 3-bedroom, a neighborhood your parents approve of. Your mother walks through it and puts her hand on the kitchen counter and says, "This is solid." You put 10% down, $28,400, which takes almost everything you've saved. Your emergency fund drops to $4,000 the week you close. The mortgage is $1,680 a month. Taxes and insurance bring it to $2,100. You are making $58,000 now, after 3 raises and a promotion. That's $4,833 a month take home. The house absorbs $2,100. Utilities, groceries, insurance, the car payment. You're left with $600 a month. Most months. You do not invest anything outside the 401k. Your parents said, "The market is gambling." You believe them. Your co-worker, Marcus, opens a Roth IRA at 25. He puts $400 a month in an index fund. By 28, he has $16,000 in it. Earning returns you don't track because you're not watching. You are watching your savings account. It has $5,200 and 0.4% interest. Last year, it earned $18. You don't do the comparison yet. The comparison hasn't become painful yet. You refinance the house when rates dip. You feel clever. The advice said to buy a house. The advice was right. Your equity is growing. You have $31,000 in equity by 28. That feels like something. That is something. You just don't know yet what it's not. The first rule. Safety compounds too. Just not in the direction you're hoping. Age 30 to 32. The crossroads. Your friend Diane does it at 31. Quits. Not dramatically. She just doesn't come back from lunch one Tuesday, sends an email, starts a consulting practice working with 3 clients she'd already quietly lined up. Within 14 months, she's billing $9,200 a month. Within 2 years, she's crossed $180,000 in annual income. No ceiling, no performance review, no VP to impress. She orders a glass of wine without checking the price. You notice. You don't say anything. She tells you she has $60,000 in a brokerage account, an index fund, returning an average of 9.1% annually. A September IRA maxed out. She rents an apartment. She chose not to buy. Not because she can't afford to, because she ran the numbers and decided liquidity was more valuable than equity in her specific situation. She explains this the way she'd explain a recipe, like it's obvious, like anyone could look at it. You drive home thinking about your $31,000 in home equity and your 0.4% savings account and your 401k sitting at $28,000 with 3% going in. You feel the math forming before you can stop it. At 32, your net worth is roughly $74,000, almost entirely tied up in the house. If you subtract the mortgage balance, the car loan, the $1,800 still sitting on a card you told yourself you'd pay off by spring, you're at $61,000. Diane is at $240,000. You started the same year at the same company, making the same salary. The difference is not income. The difference is decision architecture. You call your parents that week, not about the money. You just call, and your dad says, "How's the house?" And you say, "It's good." Because it is good. The house is good. You just can't shake the feeling that good and optimal are 2 different coordinates on a map you're only now learning to read. Compound interest is not a metaphor. It is a mechanism, and it runs in both directions. You run a spreadsheet. You're not sure what you're looking for. You're looking for the number. The one that tells you where you are versus where you could have been. You started investing 3% in your 401k at 22. You've never changed it. The balance is $54,000. Your employer matches 3%. So effectively, you've been putting in 6%, $3,480 a year for 13 years. The balance should be higher. The fund choices were conservative. Target date. Mostly bond allocation. Your parents said stocks were risky. You picked the moderate option. Marcus, your co-worker who opened the Roth at 25, has $118,000 in it. He put in $400 a month and never touched it. He picked a simple index fund. That's it. No genius. Just allocation and patience and not being afraid. The number that hits you isn't the gap, it's the projection. You type out what happens if nothing changes for the next 25 years. Your current trajectory puts you at $380,000 by retirement at 65. That's $15,200 a year at a 4% withdrawal rate before tax. You stare at it. You type in different assumptions, bump contributions to 8%, refinance more aggressively, maybe the inheritance your parents mentioned once, vaguely. You get the number to $510,000. That's $20,400 a year. The advice was, be safe, save money, don't take risks. And you did. And you are going to be okay. You are going to be fine. Fine is the word. Not free. Fine. You sit with the word fine for a long time. The furnace dies. $6,200. You put it on the card because the savings account is thin after you replaced the roof 2 years ago. The card now carries $8,900. The interest rate is 21.4%. Your parents were right that credit card debt is dangerous. You just didn't realize you'd end up here by following every other piece of their advice. You are not failing. You're also not building. And the space between those 2 things is bigger and quieter and more exhausting than anyone told you it would be. The second rule, the cost of playing it safe, doesn't show up on a bank statement. It shows up in a projection, and projections don't care about your intentions. It happens on a Tuesday. April. Nothing special about it. You're sitting at the kitchen table, the same posture your mother was in when she handed you the check, looking at a retirement calculator. You found in a personal finance newsletter someone forwarded you. You're 43. You have $98,000 in your 401k, $12,000 in savings, $87,000 in home equity, net worth, $197,000. You feel the number. $197,000 sounds like a lot, until you understand what it has to sustain. You type in your numbers: current savings rate, expected Social Security, a 6% average annual return because you've started being more aggressive in the last few years. Finally, after a co-worker's husband explained index funds at a dinner party, and you spent 2 weeks reading about something you could have understood at 24, you are 22 years away from 65. If you max out your 401k contributions starting now, $23,000 a year, which means significant lifestyle cuts, you project out to roughly $720,000 by retirement. That's $28,800 a year at 4% withdrawal. Social Security adds something. Maybe $18,000. You're looking at $46,800 a year in retirement. In today's dollars, adjusted for inflation over 22 years, that number shrinks. You close the laptop, you make coffee, you don't think about it dramatically. You just think about it the way you think about a dull ache you've been ignoring. It's not sudden. It's been there. You're just finally looking at it. Diane sends you a message that week. She's taking her family to Portugal for 3 weeks. She's working 4 hours a day while she's there. She bought a rental property last year. She mentions it the way people mention what they had for lunch. You respond, amazing. Have fun. You don't feel envious. Exactly. You feel something closer to the recognition of a road not taken that you can now see the full length of. You made the left turn. You can see where the right turn went. Neither road was guaranteed, but you chose yours based on someone else's fear, and that is the specific texture of this feeling. Not regret, not resentment. Something quieter and harder to name. Your parents are in their mid-70s. Your father's pension is $2,200 a month. Your mother has Social Security, $1,450. They have savings, $43,000. Modest and protected, and growing at 0.6% in a credit union they've trusted for 40 years. They are okay. They genuinely are. The advice worked for them. It built the life they wanted. Stable, predictable, safe. The question that sits with you on the drive home from visiting them: